to Concord, North Carolina, and Lowe's Motor Speedway, the scene of NASCAR's annual All-Star Tilt. It's the Nextel All-Star Challenge, and tonight it's qualifying. First for the Nextel Open, and then for the All-Star Challenge itself. You see the qualifying line with underdogs. Yes, that's underdogs. And favorites alike. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds as we get set to qualify for the Nextel Open. Drivers in the top 50 in points last year or this year to this point are eligible for this race if they're not already qualified for the Nextel Challenge. But the big prize, the first place prize, is not just the $50,000+, it's the chance to race in the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Because here, it's win or go home.
Yeah, this is a heat race. The only problem is you got to win the heat race if you want to run the feature. And the feature will be coming up later.
But there's an added element, Darrell, because the fans will vote one driver into the All-Star Challenge from the Open. However, it's not just the driver who gets the most votes, because also he's got to finish on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be said for that, because we've seen times here when, you know, we said, oh, there'll be 12 cars, 15 cars on the lead lap. What if they wad up half of them? You know, so you never know what's going to happen. This is the most unpredictable race that we run ever. Every year you leave here saying, I've never seen anything like that before.
And if ever there was a night when you could wad up a bunch of cars, tomorrow night is the night. Larry, Rusty Wallace said last week, he told his team, please bring an expendable car for this weekend.
Well, you know, it's been compared this week of All-Star Week to Major League Baseball All-Star Week, to the Hula Bowl in February after the Super Bowl, the NBA All-Star Week. Those guys go there and have fun. Yeah, the teams have fun here because, remember, Charlotte and Concord, that's the home for about 70 to 80% of these teams. But just remember, the winner from the Open transfers to the All-Star Challenge, and trust me, with $1 million to win on the line, when those guys buckle those chin straps on Saturday night, it is business as usual. And you know what? I have to look in the record books to see who finished second last year. Who cares? It doesn't matter. This is about winning. There's no points involved, but it all starts with qualifying tonight.
One big difference between tomorrow night and the MLB All-Star Game on Fox, those fellas will get to bring their bats and gloves home in one piece.
Yes, sir. Don't count on it from here.
Here's who's already qualified for the Nextel Cup All-Star Challenge. Recent winners and past winners of the All-Star event, including Casey Kane, who got the last invite by winning last Saturday night in Richmond. So all of these drivers are set for the big dance Saturday night. The drivers you see lined up will have to race their way in. Matt Yoakum is amongst them.
Martin Truex Jr., the 2004 NASCAR Busch Series champ, top 50 in points. That means he's eligible for this All-Star Weekend. Now, back in 2003, the Fall Busch Race, he had a special Richie Evans paint scheme. This weekend, a special DEI 25th anniversary paint scheme, and your car was very fast, Martin. Did everything back up from your test here?
Yeah, it did. Got to thank Pops and all the guys back at the shop for building this car, and Bono, my whole Chance 2 team for coming here, and just everybody for letting us do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got celebrating 25 years of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, and got to thank Bass Pro and everybody. The car's been real fast, and hopefully we can have a good qualifying effort getting that All-Star race.
He's been the best DEI driver so far during practice. He was third quick. Now to the editor of Speedway Illustrated, Dr. Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Matty. In May of 2003, Kyle Busch, who tonight will drive this car, made his first ever big league NASCAR automobile race start. It was here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in the Busch Series, and Busch absolutely dazzled them, qualifying fifth, finishing second. He almost won the race. The following spring, he came back, and he did win the race. Now, he's not done a whole lot in the Nextel Cup cars so far, but he was fastest in practice and is poised to win the pole tonight.
He's had a lot of good runs, Dick. He's just having trouble keeping that car from getting soggy in milk or something. Anyway, it's a big weekend across the Fox networks tonight. After qualifying for both races, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race on speed. Tomorrow, NASCAR This Morning, and then switch over to FX for the NASCAR Nextel Pit Crew Challenge, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The winner of last year's Nextel Open, Sterling Marlin. who transferred in along with the fans' vote, which last year was Ken Schrader. Now, this qualifying session will be the standard 2 laps. Faster of the 2 is the lap that goes into the record book. Later tonight, qualifying for the All-Star Challenge, multiple laps, including a pit stop. So don't go away.
And that, trust me, that pit stop will be the difference of who sits on the pole and probably who qualifies about 15th.
Jeff Green in a Bugles Cheerios paint scheme on the Petty number 43 Dodge, the first of many special paint schemes for the All-Star event that we'll see.
And you don't see many 43 Petty cars without some kind of blue on it. That might be one of the first in my memory.
Jeff was 13th quickest in practice earlier today. And one thing we need to talk about, if you notice, the racetrack almost looks like it has wet spots on it. Well, they did a process here that's called levigating. Basically, they smoothed this racetrack out. They did away with the humps and the bumps. And the one thing that's done, the speeds. It has picked the speeds up here dramatically from what they were in the past.
Yeah, basically what they did, you can still see how, you can see those dark spots in the racetrack. That's where the bumps were. They've taken the spikes out of the bumps. Instead of spiking up on a graph, now they're there. They're just more gradual. They're more like a wave. But they're still there. You can see the cars move around a lot.
Jeff Green, 29.018. The first lap is quicker. Is levigating another one of those words for Darrell's dictionary, or did that come out of the home office of Lowe's Motor Speedway here?
I don't know who made it up, but I know somebody's really selling it hard all over the place. If you even act like you want to say grind, somebody will grab you.
They'll grind you.
That's right.
Dick Berggren.
Sterling Marlin has raced here for some 24 years, so you've seen this racetrack change. How has the levigating process, where they ground the racetrack, changed it from your point of view?
It's the most grip I've ever seen on it, even when they repaved it. And to me, it's kind of like Texas now. Texas had a lot of grip for us, and you can really haul it here. And that's these good cars. I don't know what you're going to run. It's going to be, some guys might be in 27s next week when we get all the stuff going. But it's fun. It's 2 grooves. It's not like a 1-groove deal. It used to be. You can run high, run low, wherever you want to be. So I think it made it a lot better.
Okay, go fast tonight. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. I guess saying grind the racetrack here would be like saying chicane at Watkins Glen. It's one of those words that page is not in the dictionary. Yeah. Jeff Burton in the singular Chevrolet. He's been in the All-Star Challenge 8 times with the best finish of 4th in 1998. He won the Open in 2003.
Look at there, 193 miles per hour off into turn 1. Saw him use just a little bit of brake as he turned off into turn 1.
Yeah, most guys are left foot breakers, and they're going to lay that foot up there, and it may not be putting the brake on, but you're dragging it just a tad.
194 off into turn 3 at the end of the back straight.
There are quite a number of folks who think this could be the car to beat in the Open tomorrow evening.
Don't think he's going to be very happy with that first lap or that second lap. 29.53, 29.20. He has slowed down over 2/10 from what he practiced.
Wow. That's pretty much Charlotte. That's the history of Charlotte.
Kevin LePage with underdog on the hood of his Dodge in 8 All-Star Opens with the best finish of 2nd in 2001.
Tell you what, he stepped it up here. Qualifies first lap 28.85, over 187 miles an hour.
Well, that's putting on the dog.
Yeah, that's that old piece right there was getting around there, buddy. Nothing unlucky about that dog.
He's always ran well here, though. Always qualified good, no matter what he was in.
Fair enough. He's made a few changes on his race team too. Looks like it may have helped.
Here's Dick.
Yeah, somebody else that's also run well, qualified well here is Brian Vickers. 2nd quick in practice today. You got enough steam in this hot rod to get the pole tonight?
I think so. This GMAC Chevy was running good all day. We tested really well here. In our mock qualifying run, had some things happen there that we didn't quite get out of the car what it's capable of. So we're going to see what happens here in a minute.
All right, you be careful out there.
Martin Truex Jr., the Busch Series champion, has run enough Nextel Cup races this year to be in the top 50 in the current point standing, so he's eligible to run the Open.
And as high as he was in turn 1, we'd be hollering notes this time. Oh, he's up high, he's going to lose it, but he's running the whole racetrack, kind of right through the middle, drops it down off of turn 4. really high in 1 and 2, though.
Yeah, Darryl, normally here at qualifying, you hug that white line all the way through both ends of the racetrack.
One Top Cup driver told me this week, he said the groove has moved up so much, it may be difficult to pass higher or lower than where the cars are going to want to run here.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, we've been coming here for a long time, and it's going to take some time to get accustomed to the fact that you might be able to go places that you haven't been able to go in the past.
Martin's first lap, 28.87. Puts him second quickest. I think this lap will be a little slower, 29.03. And Mike, the reason I think, you know, next week when we're out here for the Coca-Cola 600, it's 400 laps at 600 miles. You can get by with qualifying at the rear of the field. This race in the Open tomorrow night, it's only 30 laps. You don't have time to mess around. You need to start at the front of this field.
Jamie McMurray is next up in the Haviland Texaco Dodge. Finished 22nd in 2003 in the All-Star Challenge, and in the Nextel Open was 3rd last year. Got his first and so far sole career win in Cup here.
But you know, Larry, there's still some decisions to be made in this race. It's 30 laps, but they got a 20-lap segment. Then they'll throw a caution, and you can elect to stay out, or you can elect to pit. You lose your position when you pit, but we've seen that play a role in the outcome of that race every time we've been here.
And just remember, those last 10 laps, they will be 10 green flag laps.
So there's still some nail biting that goes on down there in the pits.
And there will be 28 cars to start the Nextel Open, so that could be a lot of cars on the lead lap with 10 to go.
Now that just seems, I mean, he's in turn 1 up that high. I mean, you would be screaming. But he's just looking. This reminds me of when they put sealer on a racetrack. You run around the bottom of the racetrack till you wear it off, and then you start moving up looking for more sealer. And it almost looks like the guys are moving up looking for more grip.
I believe Jamie's going to be very happy with either one of these laps, 29.21, 29.25. That puts him 5th of the 5 cars that's qualified.
Yeah, I think he was not out of the ballpark, obviously, but he was way high in 1 and 2 compared to what I would think would be a good line.
All right, here's Matt with Underdog.
Mike, one of the best stories that came out of Daytona during Speed Weeks 2005 was Kevin LePage scoring a top 10 finish, 9th in the 500, and you've got a buddy on the hood. Looks like good luck so far.
I'll tell you, my hat's off to Classic Media to jump aboard and allow Underdog to come with us. And we're an Underdog race team. We don't have a major sponsor, and just to come here in Charlotte, which is one of my favorite racetracks, and put a good qualifying effort like that together as new car, first time to the racetrack this year, and my hat's off to all the guys at the shop who helped and put this little small deal together, and John Carter, Roger Craven did a great job. But again, Underdog, and hopefully he rides with us this weekend and next weekend and brings us a lot of success here in Charlotte.
Going to a 14th fastest time during practice. We'll see what he does during this qualifying session.
Kind of fun to see. Kind of reminds me of the Mighty Mouse that was always on Alan Kowicki's car and uniform.
And you heard him say brand new race car. You know who hung most of the body on that race car? Kevin LePage. He's chief fabricator too.
What was his crew chief's name?
Billy Poindexter, who is not with him anymore.
Right,
they parted ways this past week.
Ricky Rudd in the Motorcraft Wood Brothers Ford, 3rd on the board with a lap of 28.88. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Nextel Open qualifying with Nextel All-Star Challenge qualifying to follow here on Speed. Kirk Shelmerdine driving his own Ford, where he is not only chief fabricator, but chief just about anything else on that small team out of Welcome, North Carolina. The former championship-winning crew chief, trying to race his way into the All-Star Challenge. 30.08.
The good thing about it, though, every week during qualifying, we talk about go or go home. Everyone that's here will start this race tomorrow night.
And there is a decent purse for this race, $900-some thousand. It's just over 50 grand to win it. But last place pays almost $30,000. So there's certainly some good money in the offing for a short evening's work.
Money in the bank right there, baby. 30 grand.
Matt?
Jamie McMurray, 1 start in the Nextel All-Star Challenge back in 2003. Debriefing with car chief Mike Brill, what'd you tell him?
Well, our entire practice session, we struggled. I think we were the slowest car doesn't look like it's better now, but you know, I think we had some issues with spindles, and it'd take forever to go into what was wrong, but it changed all the front end stuff, the steering box, both spindles. We made a lot of changes to our car, and we really didn't have a lot to go off of. Our adjustments for qualifying, we just threw something at it, didn't really know, but the car drove tremendously better. It had this like a wandering feeling in practice that you'd go in the corner and it wasn't loose and it wasn't tight, it just kind of drove itself, and we thought maybe the bump was off or that the toe was off, but we checked everything over and over again, and we never could find anything, and we just changed everything, and it was tremendously better. But I think I picked up a second from practice, but it wasn't enough. My teammate did good, though.
Your teammate did very well.
Yes, he did. Casey Mears is now fastest with a lap of 28.63. That is just 4/100ths off the track record.
I was going to say, we're flirting. I wasn't going to say it today, but we're flirting with that track record right now. Man, he was wobbling off turn 4 then. Whoa! Probably means he's faster.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not much slower.
1500ths. But certainly the track record is in jeopardy tonight, just north of Charlotte, North Carolina.
He's gone from me. Tragic.
Sterling Marlin next up in the Coors Light Dodge. He's been in the All-Star Challenge 10 times, was runner-up in '98, and 12 times in the Open, which he has won 4 times.
Won it last year in transfer. Now, he was pretty quick in practice, 4th quickest at a 28.95. He was actually quicker than his teammate Casey Mears in practice.
He said somebody might run the 27s. But, you know, he's running the line that Sterling's old school, just like I would be. He's running the same line that we always run, right around the bottom of the racetrack. Whereas Casey Mears there, kind of right in the middle of the racetrack. Marlin's hunting that white line just like we always do. I think that'll pay off in the race, but I don't know if that'll be real fast.
He was right at 195 miles per hour at the end of the backstretch.
Marlin is 5th on his first lap with a 28.94 and almost mirrors it on lap 2. Back to Dr. Dirt.
Well, Boris Shed is one of 4 drivers who took turns behind the wheel of a little race in Germany recently. 24-hour race, actually, on a racetrack that's 15.5 miles in length, a place called Nürburgring, 186 turns. That's each lap. And these guys won the darn thing. Compared to that, is this a piece of cake here at Lowe's Motor Speedway?
No, not really. I mean, that's probably the toughest motor race in the world, and to be the first American to win the 24-hour was a big deal for me. But I just don't have any experience at Charlotte. You know, we came last week in the Centrix car and got rained out, and, you know, just I don't have enough laps yet. So right now, this is tougher for me. But we're going to use tonight as practice, and tomorrow night's race as practice, and do everything we can to get ready to be competitive next week in the 600.
Oh, we have just one bit of advice. Don't turn right anywhere here. That's a mistake.
Speaking of turning right, Scott Riggs.
Oh, I thought he was going to keep it out of the wall, but it slid right down into that inside wall.
And the Valvoline Chevy gets its nose broken. And, Darrell, that was just such a long, lazy slide.
Yeah, I even had time to hit my talk back and not holler.
Which gets a big laugh from our production truck.
Yeah, normally I'd be saying, spin, 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 right here, spin. And see how long it took, so.
You could just see the car just broke loose with him right there as he was to come up out of the hole off turn 2.
Now look at it blow that tear off the windshield. Air doing crazy things over these race cars when they go around like that.
Just
see the flaps,
kisses the inside.
See the flaps come up. See the tear off on top of the car there, or no, that's just smoke, a haze of smoke going over that little rail right there. Tells you a lot about what the air does on these babies.
All right, it didn't happen quite that slowly. Here it is in real time. Later on this year. And here is what happened again is Scott Riggs.
Car's just starting to get loose. You can see the difference between the rear wheels and the front wheels off that white line. And the back wheels just start getting out a little further, and all of a sudden she comes around. I wouldn't say all of a sudden. It's pretty slow, actually. Tear off the windshield. Look at that smoke go up over the top of the car.
Now you see the cowl flaps deploy there at the base of the windshield, but I think the reason the roof flaps never deployed, the car never yawed enough. It never got sideways quite enough for those roof flaps to deploy because they depend upon a pressure differential.
Yeah, and that's air under the hood coming out those cowl flaps.
Riggs had qualified 4th here last October. Hermie Sadler, the Peak Fitness East Tennessee Trailer Sales Ford, with 3 Cup starts at Lowe's and 2 All-Star Opens, the best finish of 18th 3 years ago.
He was 20th quickest in practice earlier today. He ran a 29.62. He's mirrored that on lap 1 at a 29.61, puts him 9th quickest. You know, the good thing about these teams, like Darrell said in the opening, you know, you need to win this heat race to transfer to the feature, and that's certainly the case. Of course, a lot of these teams will use this as a really good test session for next week's Coca-Cola 600. It'll be some of the best track time you will get.
Race conditions.
Matt?
And Casey Mears currently on the pole. Is that going to hold up? Because you can feel the temperature dropping.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good lap, but I feel like this track just speeds up so much when it cools off, and there's some fast guys that are going to go yet here towards the middle and in. I'm very happy with the lap, you know, because we picked up a lot from practice. But I know with cooler temperatures I could run faster. I almost wrecked getting in a 3. I got real loose, and for some reason the motor wasn't running real good. We ran a lot faster lap time, and I didn't pick up any RPM from practice, and it was laboring a little bit. So we'll have to look into that.
A guy he's going to have to worry about and try to dodge. He's going to hold on to the pole, Mike, is on the racetrack now, Brian Vickers.
I don't know. He looked bad coming to get the green to me. He was coming through 3 and 4, and the thing washed out from under him, and that hurts your confidence if nothing else.
And Darrell, most of these cars seem to be running their quickest lap on lap 1. That hurts the front straightaway speed as you take the green flag as well.
Well, it puts that doubt in your mind. You know, is this thing going to be under me or not?
First lap, 7th quickest for Vickers, who finished 12th in the Nextel Open last year.
The thing just doesn't look happy at all. It's hitting the bumps that have been levitated or navigated or whatever happened. We got soft walls. Maybe we got soft bumps now. I don't know.
Yeah, he has slowed down quite a bit from what he ran in practice. He ran a 28.78, so he has slowed down about 3.5 tenths. Looks like he may pick up, though, on lap 2 here.
If that car was any more in the racetrack, it would be pushing asphalt up over the hood.
I think, Larry, really, I think coming to get the green's what really killed that first lap. Watch him. Here he comes down into turn 3. He's starting in here. He's backing the throttle in. Watch the back end. See him wobble right there. And look at his hands in there. I mean, he had his hands full coming to get the green, which really hurt that first lap.
And you know what? Maybe Matt or Dick will be able to talk to Brian, and we can find out if he went on brand new sticker tires, because in practice earlier today, we saw a lot of cars, including Bobby Labonte, that got in trouble on their first lap on brand new sticker tires.
You just need, if you have the option, you need to roll them in. Take it out on the track, go around real slow, knock that late glaze off some. We talk about it every week almost. It's just a smart thing to do.
Well, it may not have been pretty, but it was fast. Vickers is 2nd quickest. Dave Blaney has been in the Nextel Open 5 times. He was runner-up in 2003. Started last year's race from the pole. And the Drink Responsibly 07.
16th quickest in practice earlier today. And again, a lot of these teams, I don't know that they really made a mock qualifying run because they only got the one practice. This is not an impound race, but they did have their final practice before qualifying. Looks like he's going to be one and done at a 29.40, puts him 10 out of 13 cars.
Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Dodge and Chevrolet right now in the front 2 rows. Casey Mears and Brian Vickers. Dave Blaney, who was 10th quickest, said his car was really loose as Kyle Busch comes out. Remember, he won the Busch race here last year in the month of May.
He's fast.
If he's going to be pole speed, he ran about what Casey Mears ran in practice. No, by less than 1/100th of a second. 2nd quickest.
So let's play 2.
So far, so good. Oh, he lost it right off on the exit of turn 2. He was good right there to the late exit. We've only seen a couple of cars that ran faster on their 2nd lap, including Brian Vickers, who we think we know why on that one.
I think this might be just enough to clip the pole.
Will it be enough to clip the track record?
It's going to be close.
28.61.
And no.
No.
Yes for the pole and no for the record. For the record, though, he is the fastest qualifier so far.
Yeah, 2/100ths of a second.
Right. Got that, Matt?
I believe I have that. Brian Vickers, second quick in practice. Third quick so far, and you said that your run was dictated how you came through turn 4.
Yeah, the car was just real loose, you know, right off the bat. It was weird, like you saw in the practice when Bobby, it was there, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And it was just, at that point, it was all I could do to save it. We just absolutely killed our momentum coming to the green. The green flag lap is normally your better lap, and we heated the rear tires up a whole lot during that slide, too, and just the car never came back to me. It was loose the rest of the run, but the GMAC Chevy crew did a good job. It'll be a good starting spot for us.
And Larry Mack, to answer your question, stickers.
Sticker tires. Yep, we've seen that all day during practice.
Here's Kyle Petty. The car in the Georgia Pacific Dodge Darrell, the car looked like it was kind of wobbling and bobbling down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks slow too. It just doesn't look like it's going very fast. And I'd say it's because he got his hands full.
You can see it there.
If we look in there, you'll see what I'm talking about.
You know, 11th out of 15 with a 29.24. If he can pick up a 10th, he would jump to 9th.
Well, if he could, but I think he knows he can't, so he's going to quit.
One and done. And Kyle was one of the many teams that elected to come out here and test over the last couple of weeks.
So drivers finding varying conditions of setup and track as qualifying continues for the Nextel Open. Commit. Starting tomorrow, it's Fantasy Cup All-Star One Race Challenge. Sign up, select 8 drivers, score points, and win one of 300 prizes, including a $10,000 grand prize. SpeedTV.com gives you official rules and play. The Fantasy Cup All-Star One Race Challenge.
Mike, I just don't think anybody can put it in perspective of what it feels like to drive off in the corner at over 190 miles an hour, juking on the steering wheel, wondering if the thing's going to spin out or not, and knowing you got to get the gas wide open.
Decent run for Robbie on lap 129.08. That puts him 9th quickest. A lot of changes with this race team over the last couple of weeks. They hired Greg Irwin as a crew chief that came from Richard Childress Racing. And Frank Kerr that was with him last year, and he had so much success with the Busch car. He's back in place as general manager. It's like Frank told me, the boys are all back together again, so maybe they can step this program up.
With the way that Busch car, I mean, he had an awesome Busch car last year.
Yes, he did.
He had a shot at winning a bunch of races.
Stepped it up on lap 2, 7th quickest. Good run for Robbie, 28.93.
So the Fruit of the Loom Chevrolet now at 7th place. Here's Dick.
With Jason Leffler, and earlier this day, Jason Leffler's car bottomed out, then it bottomed out again, and when that happens hard enough, there isn't enough pressure on the front tires for even a driver like this guy to be able to hang on the car, and boom, backed it into the wall and to a backup car. The question is, you got some laps in this backup car, Jason, enough so you feel confident that you can run flat out, wide open, hard in this qualifying run? You're going to take it easy because you don't have confidence in it yet?
Yeah, no, I'll run a hard lap. I wish I could run wide open. FedEx ground car is pretty good, but I don't know if it's that good. This car ran faster first lap on the track than that other car did, so we borrowed that other car from Bobby Labonte in the 18, and it's a thought that counts, but it wasn't a very good car.
All right, well, good luck with this one. And by the way, Bobby Labonte also wrecked one of his cars, so the Joe Gibbs operation today has been through 2 cars, and we haven't even qualified either one of them yet.
Remember what we said at the top of the show about bringing expendable cars for this race?
Sound like they got rid of 2 of them at one shot.
Yeah. The Centrix Financial, number 36. This is Boris Said of Carlsbad, California. You know, we won the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, and the North Course at the Nürburgring is one of the neatest racetracks in the whole world. It's more than 15 miles around, and the coolest thing is, when they're not racing, you can drive it. Wow. You pull up to the start-finish line, you buy a ticket, and you can go out there and haul butt. Everybody out there is going the same direction. There's motorcycles, sedans, manufacturers testing cars, would-be racers.
Can you imagine, Larry, on a 15-mile racetrack, debriefing the driver? He'd have to...
It'd take me to the next race to get all the information out.
There's not enough notebooks in the world for all those notes. Tell me about that turn number 29.
Well, how about entrance, exit, or in the middle?
Yeah.
I need a good GPS system, that's for sure. So Boris Said, the second lap slower, so he is 15th of 17 right now. Matt?
Kyle Busch pulling double duty tonight at 8:30 on Speed. You'll run in the Craftsman Truck Series race. You're fastest in happy hour, and so far you're fastest in this session too.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. You know, the Kellogg's guys have worked an awesome job all week long getting this car ready. This was our Darlington car that we hit the fence with when the tire went down, so we're looking forward to it. And you know, it's going to be fun. I think that we have a really, really good car here, and it's going to be a good shot for us to try to win the All-Star Open to get into the big show. And you know, if we can do that, it's going to be really good for us, and just kind of get out there and try to race with the big dogs. And looking at the practice sheets, you know, I think we were second quickest to Jeremy Mayfield over on the side that's already in. And so I think that we have a good shot if we can get into the big race to try to run up front and maybe get a top 5, maybe even a win.
Describe what it's like to be involved in this All-Star weekend.
It's amazing. I mean, just the whole All-Star weekend and everything that it's brought to the sport over the years. I mean, it's been here for so long. I've got memories way back when Jeff was running the T-Rex car and, you know, even before then. So he's definitely won it a few times, and we want to be able to do the same thing. But if it's this year or the next year, we'll just have to wait and see. But I hope that we can get it in the show for tomorrow night, be in a big race, and have a lot of fun with those guys and the rest of them. It's good. Yep.
Let's see, way back. That was all of what, 10 years ago?
That was 1995, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was way back.
But this is by far the best Cup car he's ever had here.
But just remember, he was only 10 years old.
All right, maybe it was only 8 years ago. By the way, while all that was going on, Scott Wimmer ran a 29.10. The Cat Dodge is 10th quickest so far.
Way back when.
18 of 28 drivers have had their turn at the clock in Nextel Open qualifying. Bobby Hamilton Jr. on track right now in the Tide Chevrolet.
Yeah, you may not recognize it on the TIDE, but that deal, that Tide to go, is pretty darn cool, Larry. It takes spots off your shirt.
And it's about as big as a Sharpie or
like
an ink pen. You just throw it in your briefcase or in your purse or whatever.
Karen Groh gave me a handful of them, said she thought we needed them.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Just don't confuse it with that Sharpie.
Yeah.
Start rubbing that on your shirt.
Pretty good first lap for Bobby, 28.89, 7th quickest.
Instant stain remover.
It works, too. I tried it. Cool. Feller sitting over there, it's got that spaghetti sauce all over his back. We get that off for you later.
Still trying to figure out how spaghetti sauce on your back. I've not figured that one out yet.
Can't be easy. Anyway.
Slows down on his second lap, but that's a good run for the old Tide ride. 7th quickest for Bobby Hamilton Jr.
28.89. He is the 4th quickest of the Chevrolets. Let's meet the man who last year got voted into the All-Star Challenge. Here's Dick.
That would be Kenny Schrader. There's another story with Schrader too, Mike, and that is, you remember last week, Casey Kane, a lot of conversation about him finishing second 6 times before he won. Between the All-Star Challenge and the Open, Schrader has a total of 6 second-place finishes. So, you know, all you got to do is repeat what Kane did last week, and you're all set, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice, but, you know, main thing we're here for is to get in that Nextel Challenge tomorrow, and we just need to get a good starting spot in the Open.
All right, well, good luck with that, Schrader. And hey, Mike, this paint job, the Red Baron deal, isn't that neat? This is one of the very first sponsors we ever saw Ken Schrader have when he first came to what was then Winston Cup Racing, Judy Dunleavy's cars.
And we'll see that in a bit. It was the number 90, now it's the 49.
Kenny Schrader runs second in 89 to Rusty Wallace. He runs second in 90 to Dale Earnhardt, and he ran second in 91 to Davey Allison. 3 years in a row he runs second in the race, so he was that close to having 3 wins.
Here is Mike Wallace in the Lucas Oil wide open energy drink number 4. And boy, he was just wide sideways right there between turns 1 and 2.
Darrell, it just appears that this racetrack has not went the normal direction that it used to go. You could pretty much count on it. When it would cool down, the sun would go down, it would tighten up. Most of the comments and most of the looks of these race cars, it's maybe even freed up.
Yeah, I think they got that big old right rear spring in there, depending on all that grip. And you know, this tire, I believe it's a pretty hard tire that they brought back over here because of the grip the track has. And it takes a hard tire sometime, a couple of 3 laps, get a little heat in it and get some grip in it.
There is the Red Baron. Kenny Schrader's car for the Nextel Open.
Has a look of Jeff Hammond to it on that hood. I don't know what that's all about.
21st driver on the clock will be Eric McClure, who is driving the number 92. Eric out of Abingdon, Virginia, part of the Morgan McClure racing family.
Now, he went in the first turn. You saw the sparks and the smoke come out there. That shot him up to the track, all the way up to the top of the track in turn 1 on his first lap. And normally, that would have been a crash. But there is a lot more grip higher up on the racetrack.
Now, McClure only has 2 starts in Nextel Cup this year, but he also had qualifying attempts at 2 other races, and you do get championship points if you attempt to make the field and are unsuccessful. So that's enough to put him into the top 50 in points. So he is eligible for the Nextel Open, and he'll be 18th quickest, just ahead of the Morgan McClure car of Mike Wallace. Well, last week we tried to hand over the Mr. Excitement moniker to Shane Meal, and I'll just bet the driver with Dick Berggren isn't ready to let go of it just yet.
There's only one Mr. Excitement, and that's Jimmy Spencer. And what a combination. Jimmy Spencer with the Nextel All-Star Open race tomorrow night. It's a great combination. But this is kind of a one-off deal, Jimmy. I mean, this is not a team that you race with a whole lot. Can a one-off team like this deal win the race tomorrow night?
Well, you know, Don Arnold's been in the Nextel Cup Series for 2 or 3 years now, and he's fielding the full-time truck team. And we're trying to get this, you know, 50 Don Arnold Motorsports car a sponsor. And we ran 2 races this year, ran pretty good with US Micro on the car, and you know, we're going to try to make the 600. So this is a good test day for us. We think we can. Buddy Cisco and the guys have done a great job. Bill Davis builds a great Dodge engine, and I wouldn't count us out.
Have you ever gone into a race you didn't think you were going to win?
I won't start and park, Dick. You know, I mean, there's opportunities out there to drive a Nextel Cup car and park it, and I won't do that. Don Arnold's given me the privilege to drive this car, and you know, we ran the 2 top 25 finishes, so we've built a new car here. And I love Charlotte, and I'm running fairly decent.
I think what he really meant to say was he's never started a race he didn't think he could win, Mike.
I think that's probably fair. Here is Derek Cope in the year 1 muscle car parts. Number 60, 29.54 on his first lap. That's 17th quickest. And if you watch Barrett Jackson Auctions on Speed or American Muscle, you see a lot of these folks' parts, keeping old cars young. Not that young. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway, where 22 of 28 drivers for the Nextel Open have had their turn at the clock. Coming up, Nextel All-Star Challenge qualifying, multiple laps, including a pit stop. So that will be trouble. There you go, turn 3, 2 today for Jason Leffler.
She just started wobbling with him getting down into 3, and he couldn't catch it.
So this would be the 3rd of Joe Gibbs' car.
Yeah,
That has been torn up today. 2 by Jason Leffler, the 11 team, and then Bobby Labonte, the 18 car.
Well, now, you know, like old Curly said, they ain't over with yet.
He did take the green flag, so that is his qualifying attempt.
Not loose, getting in a corner.
You could see it there, too.
He was up there pretty high. He had that kind of high, wide, and handsome arc it out there late and run it down the hill look, and that hadn't been that successful lately.
It just bent both ends of that car.
He hits it pretty hard. I mean, he's still going hard, right? That's at 190 miles an hour thereabouts.
Yeah, we've seen close to 195.
A hard day for Jason Leffler and the Joe Gibbs FedEx team. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. 23 drivers on the clock so far, 5 to go. Kyle Busch, Casey Mears are quickest. As the old Red Baron comes on the racetrack, Kenny Schrader, who won here in the fall of 1998. One of 4 wins. He has 6 top 5 finishes in the challenge in 8 starts. Finished second 3 times, as you've already heard, and second 3 times in the Open in 14 starts.
He was 12th quickest in practice so far, halfway through the middle of turn 3 and 4. This looks like a pretty good run by Schrader in the 49 car. Good run going.
I like his line. He was kind of running in the middle of the racetrack, and that seems to be where the most grooves or the most grip is. And it seems to be the smoothest there as well. Right up here where he is now, that seems to be about as good as it gets.
Tell you what, 4th quickest so on lap 128.83.
Whole piece looks good. It's good. The nose is down and it's taking the bumps nicely. See how gentle it goes across them? It's not hopping, it's just kind of floating.
Yeah, it's not upsetting the body as you go across those bumps.
Yeah,
the wheels are doing the work.
It's not jerking the wheels off the ground. It's just kind of flowing over them like you like. The car looks really nice.
Starts to overheat just as he takes the checkered flag, and Schrader is 4th quickest with an 83. A little later on, the All-Star Challenge qualifying will include a pit stop, so a little limbering up, loosening up going on.
Yeah, I thought that guy was hurting that other fella. I guess he wasn't trying to break his leg, was he?
That's exercising, Darryl.
Oh, okay.
But trust me, of the 20 teams that will be going onto the clock for that qualifying run, it will not be about how fast you're on the racetrack. It will be about how fast you get on pit road, how fast these guys perform that 4-tire stop, and how fast you get off pit road.
You can make up hundreds on the track, but you can make up seconds on the pit.
Travis Quaffle in the Kodak Jasper Engines Dodge in his first All-Star weekend. Finished 8th here last year in the Truck Series. The Truck Series coming up later tonight.
Guy had a pretty good practice speed. And
tell you what, looking pretty solid there, DW. He lost it right on the late exit of turn 4. He was good all the way to turn 4.
Yeah, the cars start to push up right there. When you get back in the gases, they start quick. Good lap. Not too far off the pole. But when you get back in the gas as early as these guys are able to, it just carries so much speed out for that real tight radius turn 4 there.
He's picking up.
He's definitely got the straightaway speed. We see the tracker go all the way over to the pole in the straightaway.
I don't know that we've seen 196 miles per hour into turn 3, but Darryl, it's like he won the battle getting in turn 3. He lost it on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, he just can't carry that much speed off the corner.
Second lap, 3/100ths slower, so Travis Quaffle holds at 3rd place.
It's a little bit too tight. Man, pretty good, though. I knew I had to drive that damn thing down in there at second lap to go a little better. And, you know, it just got a little tighter. Just a little bit too tight, mainly in, you know, both corners right before the middle, just trying to get it rotated, but not too bad.
We've not heard a lot of complaints about being too tight.
The best expression I heard, ooh. Maybe right.
Now, motorsports fans, you've got a bookstore all your own. Thousands of titles covering everything from racing to repair, motorcycles to muscle cars. It's the Speed Bookstore, and you can browse and buy online at speedtvbooks.com. Mike Bliss will be our next qualifier. He has 1 start in what is now the Nextel Open, 17th place finish. In 2000, he's a Busch race winner here last October.
Tell you what, they are traveling this car down. You can see actually the tires rubbing the tops of the fenders. You can see it smoking through the corners, left front and right front. It's going to be a good run, though.
Little patch right over the top of the right front tire, second quick. I mean, 100th off the pole. See right over the top of that right front fender, it's got a place where it's rubbed the paint off of it from the heat.
This is another team that, like Kyle Busch, have raced better than they have finished this year.
Tell you what, this is going to be a better lap. He was real good. He's starting to lose it just a little bit. It's going to be awfully close as he comes to the start-finish line.
Just needs a skosh.
And he got a skosh, and he got a new track record. We finally were able to do it.
Man, I wanted to do that so bad.
What was the second lap?
28.540. 54.
Yeah, 189 miles an hour.
Plus.
Wow.
And that's average on a 1.5 mile race.
I knew I could get it the second one. I screwed up 3 and 4. Good job. Yeah, you told me not to give it to you, but that lap time was pretty good. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, I just think Mike's coming off some momentum from here. He won over here in the Busch car, and I tell you, he gets around here pretty sporty, obviously.
That's a great run for Mike Bliss. He's the new pole sitter.
And the new track record holder.
And the new track record holder, of course. Here's Matt.
A very solid run by the 77 team as well. And Travis, how would you describe that lap?
It's fun, dang. It's a fast place right now. It's a lot of fun to qualify here. You're on the gas pretty hard, and it's a lot of fun. But Kodak Dodge just a little bit too tight right there to really go on for kill there. But we were fighting tight all day, and when we tested here last week, same thing we fought, but we're a lot better, and we were really consistent race runs earlier today. So looking forward to tomorrow night.
He's going to try to hang in the top 5.
And that should happen with 2 cars to go. He is 4th rather. Morgan Shepherd. He racing with Jesus Ministries Dodge.
You know, Mike, you heard Sterling say earlier that it wouldn't surprise him if someone got into the 27s. I don't think they will tonight. But if conditions were like this next week, when everybody's got a shot at running that fast, Ryan Newman or Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson could easily pull off a lap like that.
Well, it's not an impound race, so they can put all the effort into qualifying on Thursday night. As Morgan Shepherd ends up 25th right now, the 27 cars. There's the fastest cat in the alley right there.
There's
Mike
Booty.
Bliss.
Booty Barker, his crew chief, he's got her tuned up pretty good this weekend.
Well, I would say. New track record for Mike Bliss. I wonder if that's the first time Booty's had a track record in NASCAR. Not sure.
Not sure on that one if he maybe had one in the Busch Series or not.
He'll remember.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of debriefing to be done when the fastest guy that's ever run here.
Well, they have one more car to worry about, Jimmy Spencer, in that 50 car. Jimmy was 17th quickest in practice earlier. A little bit of wobbling there.
See, there's a little bump right there, and the car just started to work on him, and he had to fight with it, and that cost him a lot of time.
Spencer 5th in the All-Star race in '97, and he won what's now the Nextel Open in 1996. And he's got a Busch win here.
What I'm seeing, Larry, is this tire is not. It's a pretty darn good tire, because when these guys can come around the second lap and pick up, anybody can do that. Then that tells you the tire, if they ran the third lap, it might even be quicker yet.
And that's what's going to make it interesting. You talked about it earlier as far as the strategy for these guys tomorrow night when they run those 20 laps, and then they have to go 10 more with that caution in there. That will be what to do, the strategy.
It sure looks like this is the kind of tire that you might be able to run a whole gas run on without slowing down much.
Now Spencer gets a huge pickup here all the way to 10th place at 28.88, ties with Ricky Rudd. But that car, Darrell, ran 1.75 miles to get around 1.5 mile track.
Yeah, he was juking on her pretty good. But you also heard, I think it was Casey Kane or Mears say that the track was cooling down when he went, and he felt like that the speeds were going to pick up. I think that's probably playing into it as well.
And I think Jimmy adapted to what happened to him on lap 1. He did that on lap 2.
And here's Matt.
And Mike, I checked in with Booty Barker. He thinks that this is his first ever track record. How about that run?
That was awesome. You know, in practice it wasn't too good in qualifying trim, but the Net Zero Best Buy Chevrolet was hooked up there. It, you know, we worked on it because we knew we had to qualify good, and we thought, well, it's just such a short race, maybe we need to be a little tighter, you know, to run the race and not wait for it to come to us. But I think the temperature cooling down helped a lot. But, I mean, it was first lap, I knew I screwed up, and I knew the second lap I could get it better because the car was real good. So I'm really excited. Booty did great. All the Net Zero Best Buy guys did great on the car, and looking forward to starting on the front row here.
You won the Busch race here last fall. The track has been ground. The guys in the booth think that maybe the track doesn't have the same characteristics that it has had in the past. Do you see that?
I sat here and contemplated, and I watched that big screen and watched everybody run their groove on the bottom, and I thought to myself, I haven't been on the bottom all day, so I thought I'm going to run a groove up because that's where the grind is. And I made my mind up when I left. I was not going to the bottom. So, you know, sitting here, I love the pole, but I almost wish I started on the outside because that's kind of the groove. But you know, it'll be interesting. It's going to be one of those Thursday night thunder shows.
2 Hendrick-powered cars on the front row.
Well, now, you know, Mike has the option. The pole sitter can start on either side. So if he wanted to start on the outside, he has that option.
We'll have to make sure he knows that. Now that's interesting.
Very, very few people know that, and I assume it's that way. It always was.
Here's the Win Fuel winning edge. Mike Bliss's second lap is the fastest lap ever turned in a stock car under the clock at Lowe's Motor Speedway. So here's the front row for the Nextel Open. Veteran and Truck Series champ Mike Bliss, rookie Kyle Busch. The field is set for the Nextel Open. The winner and the highest vote-getting lead lap driver will transfer to the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Here's your Gillette starting grid. Chevy's on the front row, Dodge is on row 2, and so on.
Well, you won't see a lot of Fords in this race. There's only 3 Fords qualified because all of the Roush cars, both of the Yates cars, they have already qualified for the All-Star Challenge race.
Yeah, I mean, Roush has got 5 cars in the All-Star race. Pretty good odds, huh?
5 out of 5.
Yeah, pretty good.
Fourth of the field.
Pretty good odds there.
At the bottom of that grid, Riggs and Leffler, who crashed on their qualifying laps, will be allowed to start and have